behalf, and one of the first governors to endorse Chris Christie for president was Maryland's own Larry Hogan. I met up with him. Here's how it sounded. Here he is spinning on behalf of Governor Chris Christie, Maryland's own Governor Larry Hogan. Good evening, Governor Hogan.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, and you seem pretty pumped up about Chris Christie. You were the first one out here in the spin room. You have a lot to brag about?
I'll tell you what, I think it was a breakout night for Governor Christie. I think he was the clear winner of the debate, and quite frankly, it was over in the first 15 minutes. I think Marco Rubio was the clear loser. And, I think all the governors did pretty well tonight, and I think Christie was the guy that stood out.
So here you are starting your second year as governor of Maryland. What can you tell us about executive experience and how that is important for Governor Christie or any of the governors running for president compared to some of the legislators?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a completely different job. You know, if you're a governor of a state, especially a conservative Republican governor governing in a blue state like Governor Christie has, and like I am in Maryland, it's a tough job. Being a senator in Washington, you don't really have a lot of responsibility. You do a lot of talking, you do a lot of making speeches and submitting bills. You don't actually accomplish anything. You don't have any real responsibility. And being a freshman senator doesn't prepare you to run the country. Running a major state, that helps you prepare to run the country.
And you mentioned running a blue state in particular. Do you think that translates to the presidency and what a governor has to do in a city like Washington?
I mean, it's easy to be a governor or a senator in a deep red state and talk about all these issues. But if you want to win an election and you want to be successful in getting things done in Washington, you have to be able to reach across the aisle. You have to appeal to people that don't agree with you on everything. You have to get moderates and independents and Democrats to say, I like what this guy has to say. So Christie's proven that. He won the first time, and then he won overwhelmingly re-election after doing a great job.
All right. Of course, now the senators would say, listen, we sit in on foreign policy meetings. We're getting intelligence briefings. We understand about national security. What does a governor have to do? You don't have to protect your borders from foreign enemies.
Well, I mean, they play an important role, but I'll tell you what, being a legislator is not the same thing as being an executive.
And what did you think Governor Christie's strategy was tonight? Because from where I was sitting, it looked like he wanted to go after Marco Rubio and no one else on that stage.
Well, I think he was just, being pretty forceful, and he was stating his case. He was just getting tired of the BS. And Rubio was kind of being the anointed one over the past weeks. Because he came in third place after spending the most money in Iowa, the media decided he was going to be the next president. And I think Governor Christie let people know that's not the case, maybe it's a little too soon to anoint somebody.
Are you going to be up here campaigning for the governor right up through the primary?
I am. We're going to stay here until election night.
Excellent. Can I ask you a couple of quick questions about Maryland while I've got you? You're in the middle of the legislative session. Democrats have their agenda in Annapolis. Do you think you're going to make any headway at all, especially with regard to gerrymandering?
Well, I think we're going to make some great headway on a lot of things. On gerrymandering, almost everyone in our state strongly agrees with us on this. It's not a Republican or Democrat issue. It's people all over the spectrum absolutely want to see this happen. We've got very liberal special interest groups, Common Cause and Public Citizen and League of Women Voters are all pushing along with, conservative groups. The people want it, and the question is whether the legislators will listen to the overwhelming will of the people or not.
Well, and you're going to use your executive influence to try to push that issue, but...
We sure are. We've been working on it for quite some time. We had a redistricting reform commission, and we're going to try to let a nonpartisan group make the decisions, and I think that's what most people want.
Annapolis, the Democrats in Annapolis want to take whatever budget surplus you... By the way, the fact that we're even talking about a budget surplus is a miracle in Maryland. We recognize that.
Well, we inherited a $5.1 billion deficit, and in 1 year, we've gotten rid of 90% of that, and it is quite an accomplishment. We have a great team working very hard. We've reined in spending. We've held the line on any new spending. And we've revived the economy. We created 55,000 jobs in 12 months, growing jobs at one of the fastest rates in the country. And we have more revenues. Even though we cut taxes, we have $150 million more in revenues.
And yet the Democrats are still pushing back against your budget proposals this year. They want to spend more money.
Some of them are saying, wow, we have money, let's spend it. Well, that's what got us into the problems in the first place. So we're not going to let that happen.
All right. Also, two last quick questions. First, about your predecessor, Martin O'Malley. He's, of course, out of work now.
Yeah.
He missed the deadline to try to run for Senate. So we're just wondering, do you have any ideas about what he could be doing? You're creating jobs in Maryland. What do you think Governor O'Malley should do?
Well, with all the jobs we're creating, hopefully there'll be something out there for him.
Anything specific? You don't have any ideas?
I don't know what skills he has, frankly.
I think that's a fair point. And then finally, I hate to pick at you on this, but it's been over a year now, and you did unofficially name me the Maryland Crab Cake Czar. Well, I have no fez, I have no sash.
I think there has to be at least some kind of we have to get you a huge crab cake, and we have to get some kind of a official crab cake czar, like proclamation, citation, or something. Yeah,
exactly.
We'll work on that before the session's over. We're going to have you guys down to Annapolis, big crab cakes, and we'll do an official unveiling of the crab cake czar presentation.
I have no other. I mean, you've answered every question perfectly. Governor Hogan, thank you for joining us today on WMAL.
God.